Welcome to this PRISM 2025 webinar series, which we're going to happen in this end of month at St. Giles Wembley, Penang. So as usual, this event is organized by PMI Malaysia and Agilemania. So who is PMI Malaysia? It is a PMI global network and also it established in 1994. And in PMI Malaysia have over 2,000 plus members from different industry. So the objective here is to promote the project management excellence in Malaysia. So what you can get with PMI Malaysia is the certifications. You can also earn some PDO points like today's sessions. And you also get a chance to have some networking and also join some events. So you can find out more information by reaching out to the official website, pmi.org.my, or you can also search us at the LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. Okay, next is about Agilemania. So Agilemania is a group of Agile leaders which also provide the Agile consulting and training team. So we have the experts in Scrum, Safe, Kanban, Less, and DevOps, and more. So we've been served top enterprise across banking like AIA, Maybank, Telco like Cellcom DG, and Macy's, and more. So Agilemania also have trained and coached over 10,000 plus professional worldwide. So again, you can find us more detail at the website agilemania.com, or we also active at LinkedIn and also Facebook. What is PRISM? So PRISM 2025 is definitely more than a conference. It is a movement for agile project management and digital transformations. And the intention why we want to have this webinar series is because we want to get the speaker from different industry to share the insights. Like today, we got the honor to invite Piyush to share more. And we also want to offer the valuable learning opportunities. So within an hour or an hour and a half, like today's sessions, we want to let you get something and learn something. So, and you also can get the PDO points for the member. And last but not least, we definitely want to build the excitement and some noise for this PRISM 2025. And yes, we got Piyush today. So Piyush is from India, and today's topic is talking about Agile and AI, which is a synergistic partnership for innovations. So you can find out more detail by scan the QR code about the PRISM 2025, which is the theme of the year is Bionic Edge, and it is talking about human and AI collaborations for more sustainable project success. So you can find out more. We got more interesting topics here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Let me talk a bit about myself so you people know that you're not just listening to someone who has no clue what he's talking about, and we are on the same page. All right. I am Piyush. As Jane just introduced me, you can also call me PR, and you can connect with me on LinkedIn very easily. I bring in roughly 20 years of experience in the industry, been working as a coach, consultant, and trainer for last 9 years now. And before that, I have played probably all the different roles that you can see in a IT organization. Okay, so I come from the software industry world, and that's where I have spent most of my career. If you are from that field, definitely we can connect and learn from each other. If you are coming from a different field, not necessarily IT world, then also do connect so that I can learn from your experience, which I can apply. As today's topic is all about agile and AI, how they can be used together, let's not waste any more time and let's get started to understand that. Okay. um, we are going to divide it into two parts. The first part, I would like to revisit what is AI, agile all about, and then we'll talk about how AI can support uh, people who are using currently agile or maybe any other mechanism in doing their work more efficiently. Okay. If you people have been hearing these news anywhere where they say, hey, AI is coming to take up your job, no. Okay, please do not worry about it. That's not going to happen. Definitely not going to happen in the next 5 to 10 years. Okay, it might happen maybe at some point in time, but not so soon. All right. So nothing to worry about. Let's understand how we can use AI to make ourselves more efficient. Super. Let's start by the very first basic thing, understanding about, let me bring up my screen, the Agile Manifesto, right? Now, we all must have heard about the Manifesto for Agile Software Development that was created by 17 people back in 2001. Okay. And while these people were working together and having their discussions, they came up with a idea saying that there are some challenges in how we build our products. Okay. Most of the way that we have been building new products, um, we used to use a mechanism which was very waterfallish. Okay. You create probably a assembly line, or probably you establish some stations, and there was a lot of handoffs. Okay. When there are a lot of handoffs, typically it leads to delays. Okay. And that delays are often resulting into delayed value delivery. These 17 people, they tried out different mechanisms, they tried out different approaches, and they all agreed that if we have to succeed in a competitive environment, then we need to change the approach how we work. Okay. And as they got together and they started discussing their different approaches, their different ideas, they all agreed on some common values. Okay. What are those values? Those values are these: individuals and interactions over processes and tools. Now, what is individuals and interactions? And why do we need to focus more on individuals and interactions than processes and tools? Very simplistic example, if I have to take, is uh, some of you might have been going on long drives, visiting places, right? Sometimes you might even travel to a different country. And oftentimes, if you are anything like me, right, you might be carrying a Google map in your pocket on your phone, right? And we often try to go ahead and, simply put up a location on the map and we try to follow it. Has it ever happened for anyone that you followed the map, but you ended up in a different location, not at the same point where you wanted to reach? That actually happens to me quite often. Okay. I often want to go somewhere, and when I start following simply the map, it so happens that I don't end up exactly at the same location. And then I have to ask around. Correct. And when we are asking whom? The people there. Okay. We try to find the right directions. Okay. What these people, 17 people, established is, uh, you know, it is good to have a process, it is good to have a tool in place. But more than that, those interactions that we have with people, they give us more clarity. They help us to understand doing things in a better way. And that is the whole idea of basically individuals and interactions over processes and tools. We are not saying that you let go of processes. We are not saying that you should not use tools at all, but focus more on helping people clarify their doubts, make people talk to each other. That will enable them to have a good understanding of what needs to be done. Why? Because we are in a world of building a product, right? And if we are building a product, then definitely we need to go ahead and create something which is working. And that is the only measure of progress. And that comes to the second value, which is working software or comprehensive documentation. Correct? So, question: you people have smartphones? Probably all of you must be having smartphones, right? That is a wrong question to ask. Now, tell me, when you brought this smartphone, it came in a box. In that box, there was a manual of that smartphone. How many of you have read it? Anyone? I see a couple of no's coming into the chat box, right? Why are we not reading the manuals? Because the phone, the product is working. Okay. And if you're not familiar with the IT industry, then let me tell you that in the traditional approaches, okay, before the advent of Agile, IT was very much heavy on documentation. We used to create tons of documents. Okay, there was a first requirement specification, second requirement specification, even sometimes third requirement specification, and so on and so forth. But what we never did was we never created any prototypes. We never created any products. Okay, that would help people to understand if they are moving in the right direction or not. And that used to become our challenge. Now, the idea is you need not ditch the documentations completely. They are still required. They help you create transparency, they help you create clarity. But more than that, what you should be having is you should be enabling a working product, at least one small increment of the product that can help your customers to give you feedback. Why feedback? Because our customers often work in a dynamic environment. Things keep on changing. When things change, then oftentimes you're going to get into a challenge, right? And that is where our next two values come into picture: customer collaboration over contract negotiation, and responding to change or following a plan. Now, think about our daily lives. Okay. More often than not, we plan to get to our offices on time. Okay. But what happens if we get into a roadblock? Do we stay in that roadblock? No, right? We try to respond to that situation. We try to find an alternate route from our home to office if we get stuck in a roadblock. Correct? Definitely, there has to be a alternative route. If it's not there, then you cannot do anything about it. But we still try to find out an alternative route. Correct? That is basically responding to change. You can only respond to the change if you have a good communication with what you're trying to achieve. Okay, you have enough information. Who typically gives that information in product delivery? That would be our customers, that would be our end users. Correct. And collaborating with them is very important. Okay, and that is where these four values come together and help us deliver better products. How? By ensuring that people who are building the product, they talk to each other, they talk to the customers. Okay. These people ensure that they are always creating at least some increments of the product so that they can go ahead and have more conversations with the end users and get their feedback to see if we are moving in the right direction or not. And if we are not moving in the right direction, then we go ahead and typically respond to that change. Okay, instead of simply following a plan. And these four essential core values of agile help people to deliver better product. The question is, this was established back in 2001. Is it valid even now in 2025? Does it really make sense to simply focus on these values? Well, the answer is yes. Okay. Why is it still valuable? There have been lot of reports that come year after year. Okay, and this is the 17th state of agile report, which establishes that even now, okay, even this was published in 2024, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, uh, even in 2024, people are trying to prioritize, deliver, and measure incremental customer and business value. Okay, there are 41% of organizations or teams which are trying to do this. How would we deliver and measure incremental customer value if we do not take an adaptive approach? That's not going to happen. Okay, if we take a step by step approach that takes a year's time, we cannot deliver, we cannot measure incrementally. Okay, and because of these reasons, the values, the approach of agile ways of working still holds true. It is still viable. Okay, and yes, there are many more reasons. As you can see in this report, if you can just download it from Google, you will see many more insights why agile still holds good. But this is just a snapshot of it. Okay, one more thing that we need to understand here is agile is not just being about fast. Okay, agile, when it was established, when it was created in that discussions between those 17 people, they were more focused on creating an adaptive approach. Okay, What I mean by an adaptive approach is this. Think about this scenario. Okay. There is a product owner, there is a product manager, there is a person who is trying to build a product. And this person has this two features, feature A and feature B. Let's say feature A adds a lot of basic functionality, okay, without which you cannot launch the product into the market. Okay. Or basically that functionality which each competitor of yours is already providing in their products. Okay. While the feature set B has a innovative line of functionality which currently no competitor has. Okay. Which feature do you people think this product person, you call them product owner or product manager or you call them anything, okay, which feature this person should focus on building first? Would it be feature A or would it be feature B? Tell me a very basic thing, right? When we look at product development, do we know each and every aspect of product delivery on day one? That's not going to happen. Correct? Ah, I like that answer. Most popular one. It depends. Exactly. It depends. It depends on multiple factors. Okay. As a product person, maybe you call yourself a product owner, you call yourself a product manager, you will have to continuously go ahead and ask. You will have to weigh in the pros and cons of doing one versus the other. Okay. For example, if let's say if I don't build feature set A, which is basic, I may be penalized. Okay. Why? Because it is in adherence to a regulation. Okay. Will that work? No, I have to go and build feature A then first, irrespective of what value feature B might be going to create. Correct? So there might be a lot of weighing of pros and cons that we have to do. Okay. Sometimes we have to just go and take some aspects of both these functionalities, as someone said earlier, that let's start focusing on both and try to figure out which is adding more value. Okay. So we often have to do these compromises. We often have to do experimentation. Okay. And if we go by the traditional approach, which was pretty popular in the IT world earlier, where people used to spend first 6 months, just creating documentation and all. Okay. If we go by that approach, we cannot do experiments. We cannot validate the information that we have. Okay. What is adding more value to our customers? We cannot do that. Okay. And because of that, agile approaches make more sense in a fast and competitive environment. Then I believe that we have a common shared understanding that agile still makes sense. All right. Now, when we are working in this agile world where we are trying to be more competitive, we are trying to be more efficient, okay, where we are trying to deliver value faster, okay, where we want to be more adaptive. In this world, when technology comes to our help, we are going to be more efficient. Few years ago, we used to talk about automation. Okay. Automation of whatever you are currently doing, any repetitive step that you do, you used to want to do an automation about it. Then came the world of continuous integration, continuous delivery. You people must have heard about terms like DevOps, right? And then came the world of focusing too much on security, and then it became the DevSecOps, right? So technology keeps on evolving. Today, technology is going through another leap of change. Okay. And today that is fostered by AI, artificial intelligence. Okay. But when you look at this artificial intelligence, and let me bring up my screen one more time, AI, okay, there are two different words. One is intelligence. Okay. What is intelligence? Intelligence typically is the ability to acquire and apply knowledge or skills. Okay. It is not a single entity. Okay. It has multiple different aspects. Like it might be critical thinking, it might be rationality, it might be emotions. I don't know. Okay. But that all becomes part of intelligence. Thirdly, intelligence is often created based on your own experiences. right? The interactions that we have, the reasoning that we have, the way we solve problems, okay? That all makes up the intelligence part, okay? And when we talk about artificial, this is the second word, okay? And artificial typically means something that is human made or man made, which is not natural. If we consider these two words separately and then we go and uh, put them together to create the word what we call today as AI, artificial intelligence, then we can simply say that artificial intelligence is nothing but um, an intelligence that it's created by humans. Okay. However, whether this AI, okay, that we can see currently, whether it has the critical thinking capability, does it has the rationality or not, we cannot say that yet. Okay. If you people have been reading news around AI and all, you must have heard a news where um, there was a situation where the AI, okay, it started to build its own ideas and expressions, okay, and then the creator who was working on that AI system, they had to pull out the plug because the system has started to go beyond their control. Okay, so was it doing rationally something correct? We don't know yet. Okay, so those kind of things might happen. Okay, and for me, this is how I would put AI: something man made, something which is not natural, but has the ability to acquire knowledge and skills. That's going to be AI. Does this AI at this point in time has the ability like humans to do critical thinking, to do reasoning? Maybe not. We are not there yet. Okay. What AI is not for sure, this what you commonly see in most of the descriptions. Okay. Hey, start using Chat GPT, start using Copilot. You are getting AI. No. Okay. AI is not Chat GPT. AI is neither Perplexity. AI is not Mid Journey. AI is not Copilot. You can think about any of such tools. Okay. Like I said, these are mere tools. That is not AI. Okay. All of these are implementations of one or the other aspect or some specific capability of what AI has to offer. Okay. And even before, Chat GPT made AI the common household term, there were many devices which were already using some of these concepts and were applying it. Okay. If you people must have heard about Alexa or probably used Alexa. Okay. Or if someone is an Apple user, you might be familiar with um, what you say, um, Siri, then yes, you already know what AI is all about. Okay. If we have to go and define AI, then we can go ahead and say that at the very minimum, okay, AI is a simulation of human intelligence, right? And all of these things may use different approaches like natural language processing, generative AI, machine learning, large language models for training, and so on and so forth. Okay, like I was saying, Alexa and Siri were already doing a couple of these things even before AI became a household name. There are many different components, okay, as you can see from this slide itself, which go ahead and build AI. Okay, what are those different typical components which we should be aware of when we are talking about AI? Okay, the first one is large language model. Okay, what is this LLM? When we think from the perspective of LLM, we are talking about an artificial intelligence model which is designed to create or understand human written text. For example, your Chat GPT is exactly the same. You go, you give a prompt to the Chat GPT, and it will generate some text for you, which you can use very easily. Okay. uh, this kind of concept, this LLMs, this allows computers to learn patterns, okay, and structures of language, enabling it to generate uh, coherent and contextually relevant responses. Okay, it can do that. The other component that goes into your artificial intelligence is natural language processing. Okay, how do you when you are giving a prompt to any of these AI models, how they are processing, how they are analyzing the language, okay, and how they are going to use that language or instructions to perform a job, okay, that becomes part of natural language processing. Okay, it could be text, it could be images, it could be any kind of taking that text and converting into machine language and then forming it up. It will go and do that. Okay, typically generative AI kind of concept is going to use that instructions and then create text, images, and even music by learning patterns from the existing data. That happens when you use natural language processing to support your AI models. The third component that goes in here in artificial intelligence, okay, is generative AI, which I just mentioned. Besides this, you also have machine learning, which is basically a subset of the overall AI and is actually talking about how your machine is going to improve, how your computers are going to learn, how we are enabling systems to learn from data without any explicit programming, without writing the actual code. Okay, that is the idea. Then this is the most common concept which we all are hearing about around us, prompt engineering. Okay, which is how do you create the right prompts for your systems to understand you and give you the desired feedback as needed. Okay, and that is what prompt engineering is all about. Data science, okay, uh, how data will be analyzed, how data will be shared, um, what kind of data should be shared, what cannot be shared, and so on and so forth. Okay, and the last and most important part is the ethics. Anyone here who is a fan of the Avengers series from Marvel Comics? Anyone? Yes, no, maybe. Anyone seen the movies called Infinity War? Or maybe not, let's go into the end. Maybe anyone has seen the movie called Age of Ultron? Okay. Then anyone is aware of the movie called Terminator that came back way back in, I think, the early 80s? Yes, super. Okay. Now, if I go back to the Terminator, okay, uh, there are two different Terminators in that movie. Okay, especially the part two. Okay, where Arnold Schwarzenegger, he plays the role of the protagonist, and then there is another Terminator who is the villain in that movie. Okay, if you look at these robots, okay, they came from future. Okay, and we called them as robots at that time, and I probably still prefer to call them as robots. Okay, but when I take that concept and when I bring that concept into the Marvel comics, and probably I talk about the movie called Age of Ultron, you might see two different characters here. Okay, one is the Ultron, and then there is another character called Vision. Okay, you people might go ahead and Google them. Okay, and what you would see is, this is what we are talking about: ethics. How your AI is going to work within the limits of human empowerment. Okay, does your uh, AI that you are trying to create right now, is it going to support humanity, or is it going to destroy humanity? And Ultron and Vision are those two different extremes. Ultron is one who wants to go ahead and destroy humanity because, according to Ultron's understanding, and he's not wrong, okay, given the current circumstances that we see we created as humans on Earth, according to Ultron, the best way to save Earth is to destroy humans. And That's not Ultron's fault, to be very honest. It's our fault as humans because we don't really care about Earth. We are consuming it. But this is not a moral science uh, session. This is the session on AI. So there is another version of Ultron which is called as vision, and it says that humans always have a choice, and humans can become better at what they do. They need to be given that option. We cannot simply destroy humanity. So, when we are building our AI bots, when we are creating our AI systems, what ethics are we trying to inculcate into our AI systems? Are our AI systems going to understand how humans can become better, or probably they are going to get into a wrong direction? And then it might become challenge for us to handle them. Plus, when we are building AI systems, how much of our privacy can be allowed to be handed over to those? Is it good? Maybe, maybe not. Okay. And what happens when AI starts to take over control of each and everything that we own? Is it possible that AI can just be part of a pacemaker um, on someone's heart and then put that person on a ransom, saying that, hey, you need to pay me this much money, else I'm not allowing this pacemaker to perform properly? Can that happen? And when we are trying to build AI systems, I believe more than anything else, we have to be more worried about the ethics of the people and the systems themselves. Okay. When you bring all of these components together, that's where we get artificial intelligence. I'll take a pause. Any questions, any doubts at this point in time? I don't see anything in the chat box, which means that right now we are in a good shape. We also now establish what basically artificial intelligence is in our current context. Okay. And what are the different components of this artificial intelligence that we see around us? Now, let us go ahead and probably start using, okay, these components a bit. Okay, let's start seeing how you can utilize some of these AI tools that will help you to deliver more efficiently and help you to go ahead and create better products for yourself. Okay, I'm going to give you some basic examples how I use it, especially in my work where I'm working as a agile coach for product owners, product managers, and I'm supporting agile teams in building great products. I typically use Gemini. Okay. Why Gemini? Because we at Agilemania, we have a license to it and we can use it in many different ways. Okay. For you, you can choose any tool that makes sense and that would be helpful for you to create value. Okay. Is Gemini the only tool? No. Work with whichever tool is easy for use. Okay. Now, first thing that we need to understand is Gemini here is a chat bot. Okay. What it is going to do is it is going to take a prompt from me, probably go and do a much faster Google search. Okay. Then I can perform on my own. And then it is going to give me a response. Right. However, the response that I'm going to typically get from Gemini will be more or less contextual. Okay, which means that if I do not set the right context, then oftentimes I'm not going to get the right result. I'll show you an example. Okay, if I simply go ahead and write a prompt here, create a persona of a customer. If I just write this much and I go ahead and run this prompt, okay, all I'm going to get is the very basic thing, very basic aspect about how a persona should look like. That means there should be a name of the persona, there should be some demographics, okay, there should be some interest and hobbies, okay, some values, motivations, challenges, and pain points, media consumption, so on and so forth. But do I really need this persona? Okay. How do I know that this persona is valuable to me as a product owner? I don't really know. Okay. Is this persona relevant to a product that I am trying to build? I don't know because I never really set that context. Okay. All I said is create a persona of a customer. Okay. And what uh, Gemini did, it responded to that prompt. It just tried to figure out what is a customer, what is a persona, and it went ahead and it spat out one persona, okay, with some basic ideas that are there. Okay. Now, what I need to do is I need to make it more usable from my perspective. Okay. For the product that I'm trying to build. Okay. And what is the product that I'm trying to build? I'm trying to build a product which will help photography enthusiasts and birding enthusiasts to find birding hotspots in their area. Okay, for example, I'm not building it, but that's my idea. That's what I want to go ahead and do. Okay, but now if I have to go ahead and get a persona which will work for this particular product, I have to set that context. How can I go and set that context? I can say, um, hey Gemini, create a persona. Okay. Now I have to give some more context. Okay. What kind of persona I want? For a middle age female photographer. Okay. Who is a birding enthusiast. That is, this photographer loves birding and wants a birding application that helps her identify birding hotspots in their location. Okay. When I set this context, when I gave um, chatbot what I would like to see from the persona's perspective, then I'm going to get a very different persona. Okay. Now you can see here a lot of things have changed. Okay. Comparing these two personas, if you see here at the very start, okay, when I say just customer, any occupation will work. Okay. Marketing manager at a tech startup. Okay. That was there. But when I specify what I want, what kind of persona I want, you would see that freelance photographer specializing in nature and wildlife. Okay. The persona suddenly changed. Okay. Added better demographics from the perspective of my product. Okay. Also, interest and hobbies, they have changed from the perspective of the product that I am trying to build. Okay. Clearly calling out the two key things that I highlighted: bird watching or birding, photography. Okay. Wants to do nature walks. Okay. Travel, community engagement. Okay. What is happening is as we provide more and more context to our system, it becomes even better in creating our products. Okay. Or helps us doing our work more efficiently. Okay. You can go and make it even better. How? Let's say we give more context to this application. Okay. And we tell them how to think. Okay. When I say how to think, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to enable my chatbot to think in a very specific way. How I can do that is by setting more context. Okay. Let's take another example. Um, Consider that you are with 20 plus software development. Okay. What I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to set the context that what kind of thought process or what kind of approach this chatbot has to take. And now this context is going to help this chatbot think in a very specific, very product focused way. All right. And building more context. You're about to launch a new product for sharing birding hotspots. Okay. We are here to build a product that is going to share birding hotspots. Okay. In the locality of its users. Okay. And now we say that now go and create a persona of a middle-aged photographer who is uh, interested in bird and wildlife photography. Okay. And as I go and I can go ahead and click on this, I'm going to get another version of the same persona. Okay. But now this persona is coming from the very perspective of a experienced product owner. Okay. And if you start to do a side by side comparison, you might see that although the titles, although the high level information remains the same, there they go into much more details. Okay. For example, here you might suddenly see a new thing coming up, the photography gear. Okay. This was not there in my previous example. Okay. When we talked about Priya as a persona here, okay, we do not have that photographic gear as a consideration. Why? Because probably when we start thinking from the perspective of a product owner, we might also have to think from the different personas, understand what all different things a persona might be able to do. Okay. So as you keep adding more and more context to it, you might be able to get much better personas. And this is going to make you more efficient. It's not going to take away our job. It is just going to make us more and more efficient. It's going to help us to do our job in a much better way. Make sense? I can use the same persona. Oh, sorry. I can use the same context and I can just go ahead and say, hey, can you build me a list of functionalities? Can you help me identify a list of functionalities? So let me do one thing. I will copy this. And if I go here and I say, instead of creating a persona, create me a high level list of features for this product and I execute it, I will get a high level list of uh, the features that can be built into this product. Okay. Interactive map view, hotspot detail pages, bird species. Okay. Offline access, reporting, adding a new hotspot, user profiles, navigation and planning, okay, community engagement. Then there should be something for admin and moderation, okay, technical considerations, and so on and so forth. So what is happening is, as a product owner, I don't have to think about all of these things on my own. I don't have to do a lot of research on my own. Okay. I will definitely have to do the research. I will definitely have to go and engage with my customers for sure. But I always going to get a skeleton already ready if I use a AI tool to support me. Okay. And that way I'm going to become more and more efficient. Okay. And this is just from one perspective. This is a perspective of when you're just trying to use a chatbot to help you do your work in a better way. What if not just this, you also have these chatbots helping you write better code, helping you build the product? Is that a possibility? Absolutely yes. Okay. You have another tool. Let me bring it up. Where is it? Here. Okay. This is where I code. This is Visual Studio Code, an application where you can write code for building your applications. Okay. And right now, Copilot is one of the integrated AI systems that comes with this application. Okay. I believe most of you must have heard about Copilot. If not, I just put that up on my slides earlier. Okay. It is a tool that will help you write better code. It will help you write code even if you don't know anything about coding. Okay. I have created one application. I usually use this application when I'm teaching developers. This is a very basic calculator application. Excuse me, where I'm going to perform some operations as you can see here. Okay, there is addition, there is subtraction, there is multiplication, okay, and there is division, right? Now, there are these four applications that or operations that this application performs. What I need is I need to go ahead and write test cases, okay, unit test, for example. I can go and do it on my own. I have done that for 13 years in my career. But today, it has become much more easier for me. All I need to do is I need to go here, okay, and ask my Copilot, okay, how? I can just go and write a prompt here. Add unit tests for my code, okay? And here you go. Within seconds, I have a complete set of unit tests created for the code that I have. Okay. And if you can see here, you would be able to see that there is a test for addition right here. There is a test for subtraction. There is a test for multiplication. There is a test for division. And there is a test for division by zero. And there is a test for not enough operands. So it has even thought about some of the approaches which probably I would not have thought about on my own. Okay. If usually I would have gone and created my own test cases, I would have simply went ahead and written a test case for addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, and probably the division by zero. I probably would have missed out the not enough operands. Okay. This might have happened. But now with Copilot doing work for me, I can just get these things done very quickly. What is happening? What is it doing for me? It's improving my efficiency as a developer. Okay. And when you build these things together, when you bring agile, which where you want to be adaptive, okay, um, and when you bring in AI to support your agile ways of working, you become fast and adaptive. Okay. You can quickly make decisions. You can quickly integrate different things, different components, and see what is working for you and what is not. And that is what I was referring to as the agile and AI, a synergistic partnership for innovation. If you are really working in an innovative world where you want to stay ahead of your competition, then AI is going to be your companion. AI is something that is going to help you become more adaptive than before. Yes, agile is there, but AI is going to augment the capabilities of your agile teams. If you stay away from AI and say, oh, this is not going to impact us, sooner or later, we will be out of the game. Okay. So don't do that. Start using AI as your companion, as a partner in the way of work, and then see how AI and Agile can help you deliver much better products in much shorter times. Okay. And remember, shorter time does not necessarily mean that you're going to do twice the work in half the time, as some people claim. Okay. It means that you're going to create better value for your customers. Okay. Focus on outcomes, not just outputs. When we do that, that's where we create value for our end users. And to do that, you are going to need the support of AI, you are going to need the support of Agile, and all of these things put together are going to help you build great products. Makes sense? And I'm open to any questions if you people have. Okay. If there are no questions, then probably, okay, what are my thoughts on low or no code tools incorporating AI and its impact on Agile? Um, I have personally not used any no code tools as such. Okay. Um, I'm not doing any development recently, so not very familiar with that concept. But what I believe is whether it is a no code tool or whether it is a code tool, it's just a tool. As long as humans you are able to use the tool efficiently and it is going to help you in doing your job more in a much better way, um, it should be helpful. What is the impact of no code tools? I don't really see much of it because I have not used it practically so far. So I might not be the right person to comment on that. Does that make sense, Jerry? How a Scrum Master should use AI? Okay, great question. Um, in my personal experience, if I have to say, I will start looking from the perspective of what is the job of a Scrum Master. Okay. And the most important thing a Scrum Master has to do, from my perspective, is to make the team efficient. Okay. To improve the efficiency of the Scrum team. Now, as a Scrum Master, you will have to start thinking from the perspective of where can AI help me or my team to improve its efficiency? Okay. For example, I just showcased you the demo of Copilot. Is Copilot going to help my team to become more efficient? Yes. Does my team know how to use it? No? All right. If my team does not know how to use Copilot, then as a Scrum Master, let me learn about Copilot and train my team, mentor my team on the usage of AI. Okay. That could be my job. Another approach you can take as a Scrum Master is you might just go ahead and think from the perspective of, okay, how can AI make me more efficient as a Scrum Master? Can AI help me to become a better coach, better mentor? What can I learn from AI's aspects? What tools can I use for my leveraging? For example, a lot of Scrum Masters go ahead and build a lot of different reports. Okay. Can I ask a AI bot to build those reports for me? For example, if you're creating a velocity trend report, which probably you just go ahead and grab from Jira, can you just create an AI bot that will do it for you maybe at the end of every sprint? Possible. Okay. And that way, a Scrum Master can use AI for its advantage. And that's just my thought. There could be many more other experiences or experiments you can run with it. So, does that make sense, Rujuta? What are the most significant challenges in integrating AI development into an existing agile framework? And then how can these challenges be overcome? To be very honest, I don't see any challenges in integrating AI development into an existing agile framework. Why? Because AI is just one technical tool that your team is going to leverage. Okay. Right now, if you are using DevOps, go and build a DevOps pipeline with AI capability, and that should be it. Okay. Um, but there is additional thing which I see here, which means that um, how these roles, Scrum Master, Product Owner, are going to change. Well, I don't see any changes in these roles. Okay. Scrum Master, Product Owner, your developers, these are accountabilities in the Scrum's context. Okay. Excuse me. And when I say they are accountabilities, that means they are accountable for their specific work. AI is just going to make them more and more efficient. AI is just going to make their lives easier if they use it in the right way. Okay. What I mean by that is, let's say if as a product owner, if you start leveraging the capabilities of AI, like I showed you earlier with the prompts that I have used, you might be able to refine your product backlog. You might be able to build a product backlog in a much faster way. Okay. Is that product backlog going to be the best possible product backlog? No, there is no such guarantee. As a product owner, now you have a skeleton, and you can use that skeleton to refine what you really want to build for your product. Okay. You don't have to go into a deep meditation now to think about all the different things that you want to build into your product. You get a skeleton and you prune it. That is the advantage. That is the capability that you are going to get in your roles. I hope that makes sense, Shin Hong.
Yeah, thanks.
Perfect. Do you see Gen AI proficiency as a determining factor for new hires, or is it secondary skill? I think it's a secondary skill, because as much as it is propagated and it is promoted on the YouTube videos and all that you need to become a prompt engineer, unless you know what domain you are working in, how can you create prompts? I may go and learn something about prompting, but then if I'm not curious, okay, if I do not understand the domain, if I do not understand the business, then my prompts will not be relevant. So it is good if you understand what is prompting and how you can use it. Okay. But it will only be refined as you really start working on the product and you understand the needs, you understand your products better. Definitely for me, it's a secondary skill. And then I see another question which says, what are the agile AI challenges when dealing with data governance and risk management? Keen, I'm sorry, I cannot answer that question because I have no clue about data governance at all. Okay. Um, how it works. But probably what I see or what I heard in the context of AI is, if your bots get access, okay, to your private data, okay, it might be a big risk. Okay. A big risk from the privacy part. Okay. Especially if you're working in regions like Europe, where you have laws like GDPR, all right, which stress a lot on privacy of information, privacy of data and everything. Then it becomes a huge risk for anyone who is dealing with AI bots or AI applications that just get into and get access to a lot of data. May not be a very good thing. Uh, that's a good thought. I can go through that. Yeah, turn it off. Super. Thanks for that insight. Cool. Any other quick questions? Then probably I will hand it back to Jane.
Thank you so much, Piyush. I hope the rest also enjoy the sessions. So it's okay for those who want to claim PTU, you can screenshot this slide so that you remember where to reach out to me to get the code. So for those who want to also redeem the code, please be patient with me because I need to reply a lot of message inquiry. So please allow some working times for us to handle this, okay? And thank you so much. I hope you all enjoy. So once you've done the screenshots, last but not least, again, can see more interesting topic at the PRISM, which going to happen soon, like a few more weeks at Penang. So scan the QR code so that you can also find out for next sessions. We have a next webinar tomorrow also. So thank you so much, everyone.